Hello everyone and welcome back to this Python programming course where you are going to learn everything you need to get started programming in Python. In this video, we will be looking at input and output statements in Python. So let's jump right into it. Python provides numerous built-in functions that are readily available to us at the Python prompt. Some of the functions like input and print are widely used for standard input and output operations respectively. Input may come from the user directly through the keyboard or from external sources like files or databases. Output can be displayed directly to the console or the IDE to the screen through a graphical user interface or again to an external source. Sometimes, a developer might want to take user input at some point in the program. To do this, the Python provides an input function with syntax input, where prompt is an optional string that is displayed on the screen at the time of taking input. The input function pauses program execution to allow the user to type in a line of input from the keyboard. Once the user presses the enter key, all characters typed are read and returned as a string. So let's look at a few examples. For the first example, we will see how we can get user input with a message from Python. So here we see that we've declared a variable name and we put the input statement, input what is your name. So once we click on enter, once we press enter, we are asked what is your name and we have the possibility to enter a name. So if I now print name, I'll have the value stored in my name, which is Winston Smith. Note, Python takes all the input as a string input by default. To convert it to any other data type, we have to convert the input explicitly. For example, to convert the input to int or float, we have to use the int or float method respectively. For example, we have a variable number and we say input enter a number and we enter a number, let's say 5. If I want to print that number, print number plus 100. Since we did not convert the value entered, because as we said, this 5 entered by the user is considered as a string. So giving the number or the string 5 added to 100, it should give us an error message. So this is the error message telling us that can only concatenate string, not int to string, because 100 is considered as an int, then number is considered as a string. So to correct this, we simply have to come back to this part of our code. Then at this point of input, I'll add the int and I close it accordingly here. So at this point, I can now enter the 5 and print back this statement, and I have 105 printed. With the input function, you can collect data from your users, but what if you want to show them any result that your program calculated? Up next, you'll learn how you can display output to your users in the console. We use the print function to output data to the standard output device, that is the screen. We can also output data to a file, but this will be discussed later. An example of its use is given below. So we have print, this sentence is output to the screen, and if I press enter, we have the statement is output to the screen. Besides printing text to the screen, you can also print a combination of declared variables in your program or printing a statement with the result of your program. So let's look at an example. So here in this example, the program will print the phrase hello plus the name of the user written in the input statement. So here we have username equals to input, enter your username, then you are asked to enter a username. Once that is done, we print hello plus your username. So we have hello John. Note that the order doesn't matter. You can also start by writing the variables for the message you want to display. For example, so here we have 5 is the value of A. We see here that the order does not matter. The variable can come before or after the string. Sometimes we would like to format our output to make it look attractive. This can be done by using three different methods. The first method is by using formatted string literals. We can use formatted string literals by starting a string with an F before opening quotation marks or triple quotation marks. In this string, we can write Python between curly braces that can refer to a variable or any literal value. For example, we declare a name, it works. Then we print using the F. It can be in small letter or capital letter. So hello name, how are you? Then I just press enter and we have hello Gitworks, how are you? So this format is very useful. Next, we will move to using the format function. Sometimes we would like to format our output to make it look attractive. This can be done by using the str.format, which simply means string format. This method is visible to any string object. For example, the value of x is 5 and y is 10. Here, the curly braces are used as placeholders. We can specify the order in which they are printed by using numbers, which is known as the tuple index. For example, print I love 0 into the placeholders and 1, specifying the order in which we want to be printed. Then we have .format, bread and butter, and the output we have I love bread and butter. We can even use keyword arguments to format the strings. 30 is the sum of 20 and 10. So the statement we wrote was print sum value is the sum of value A and value B, and in the format we specify that value A corresponds to A, value B corresponds to B, and some value corresponds to sum. Therefore, we have the output 30 is the sum of 20 and 10. The third method we are going to look at is using the percentage operator. We can use percentage operator. Percentage values are replaced with 0 or more values of elements. The formatting using percentage is similar to that of printf in C programming language. We have percentage %G for integers, percentage %F for floating point numbers, percentage %S for strings, percentage %X for hexadecimal numbers, and then percentage %O for octal numbers, and so on. Let's look at an example. Here we have number equals to int to specify that we intend the user to enter an integer. Input, enter a value. The value entered is stored in the variable number. Then we have add number plus 5. Number being 5, we have print the sum is %G, then %add. So this %G serves as a placeholder for the %add value. Then we have the sum is 9, which is the correct output. So far, we've been writing our code on the interactive interface of our Python IDLE software. Though the interactive mode is very useful, it gets quite difficult to use when working on bigger projects. So at this point, we will be moving to script mode. The difference between interactive mode and script mode is that the interactive mode is a way of executing a Python program in which statements are written in command prompt and result is obtained on the same command prompt. In script mode, the Python program is written in a file, then Python interpreter reads the file and then executes it and provides the desired outcome. The program is compiled in the command prompt and the result given out to the screen. So as I said, at this point in time, we'll be switching from the interactive mode to the script mode. And to do that, you come to File, New File, and you automatically open the script mode of your IDLE Python programming software. At this point, we've gone through all what we had prepared for you in this video. Now, we will be moving to a live practical example which will require us to write a program while implementing most, if not all, of the concepts we've learned so far. So let's dive right into it. For this live coding example, we are going to be writing the program of a simple calculator that does the following operations. The program should be able to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. It should make suggestions to the users for them to decide which operation they would like the program to perform. The program should be able to collect integer and or floating point numbers from the user and store them accordingly in declared variables. The program should make use of conditional statements to perform different mathematical operations. After returning the result to the user, the program should implement a looping structure to enable the user to re-enter values and choose operations again and again until they decide to stop. So let's start coding. First, we will save our file and give it a name. So now that our file has been saved, let's follow the guideline and get the program created. Okay, for the sake of time, I will just paste the code here and provide the necessary explanation. So to begin, we have to enable the user to enter value 1 and value 2 as floating point numbers. Input, enter a number, float value 2, float, input, enter a number. So choice, int, input, please enter an operation. Here, the user will have to choose 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for multiplication, and 4 for division. The /n is for the program to move to the next line. That each time the program encounters a /n, it sends the remaining expressions or statements to the next line. Next, the program has to make provisions for the various choices. So if the user chooses 1, the program should do the sum and print out the sum of the two numbers. If the user chooses 2, the program has to do the difference and print out the difference, 3 for multiplication and print out the product, 4 for division and print out the quotient. But in the case that a user enters a number different from 1, 2, 3 or 4, this should be handled by else and a message should be printed, you entered an invalid value. So this is basically it for this program, but to enable the program to repeat itself until the user decides to willingly stop it, we added a while loop with a statement while cont for continue equals to y. We first of all initialize cont to y, saying that continue is yes, the user wants to continue. At the end of the operation, we have cont as an input. Input, do you want to continue? Yes or no? If the user enters a yes, the loop will be evaluated again, and if cont is yes, then all these operations will take place. But if the user enters anything different from yes, that is a no or any other thing, then this statement will not be correct and this loop will not be executed, thereby ending the program. So let's save our code and try it out. To save, you can simply press Ctrl S, and to run, you click here and run module. So we have enter a number, you can enter 5, enter a number again, I can enter 4 this time around. Then please choose an operation, 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for multiplication, and 4 for division. I want multiplication, so I'll take 3. The product of 5 and 4 is 20. Do you want to continue? Yes or no? If I press yes, I will be asked to enter another number, 4 and 2. Please choose an operation. I want subtraction. The difference of 4 and 2 is 2. Do you want to continue? Now I put N for no and my program will stop at this point. So this is basically it for this video, but before we end this video, I am going to paste a practical exercise here for you to keep learning and implementing the concepts of input and output statements in Python. The link to the solution to this practical exercise is attached in the video description below, but before you check it out, make sure you try writing the code first. In our next video, we are going to look at strings in Python. So, see you soon.